This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to your Monday, St. Patrick's Day edition of the afternoon show. Of course, y'all know that it's 2 o'clock, so it is time to get things started today. Of course, with me is the boys. It's Jay McLovin, it's Frankie C, and of course, we are live on all of our channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, you name it, we are there. Best way to find it, though, is our link tree in the description where you can find all of our shows as well as all of the rest of our networks. Tremendous shows they put on every single day. Gaming, other sports news, entertainment news, you name it, you can find it on our channel. Well, let's get into it, guys. Jay, how you doing this afternoon? And Frankie, how was your weekend, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. As you can see, I got my St. Patty's Day shirt up because I'm a charmer, Logan. My wife called me that I'm a charmer, Logan. I don't know. Hey, where's y'all's green, Logan? I don't see no green. Greatest accomplishment.
I had some green on earlier, man. I got the socks on right now. I got some green socks. I don't feel like lifting my foot up to the camera though, but I got green socks.
To see your feet.
He's got green
exactly. That's why I'm not going to show it.
You got green in the background. The hell with it.
Yeah, I'm about to say you got the grass in the background. You know we're good. Frankie, what about you? You don't got an excuse. Where's your green at?
I'm smoking it.
And with that there we go.
Listen, happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you Irish people out there. But I'm Puerto Rican. All right, the only green I celebrate. I smoke it or I spend it. That's the only green I do.
Well, no, you don't see it. You don't see it, Jay. But Frankie's actually got a Shamrock Shake next to him. That's what he got.
I actually got a vitamin water. He said, "Is
it at least like lemon lime or something?"
I don't like Shamrock. No, I'm drinking vitamin water Triple X.
Okay, I got you.
That's the blueberry pomegranate.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't like. For some reason, I don't like Shamrocks.
So you must hate Jay's shirt right now. He's got
no. I'm not saying I don't like Irish people. I'm just the Shamrock shakes and stuff. I'm not a big fan. I did try it once.
I got you. That's fair. Hey, to each their own. Well, I'll tell you what. You're talking about Shamrocks. Talking about for the St. Patrick's Day 4-leaf clovers, right? Some guys who might have plucked one or two and got a lot of money in the league. Let's go out there to Cincinnati. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They got paid. Big deal between both of them, and it's rare you see two big deals like that made at the same time. But that's how it was. So let me get the terms pulled up here. But whenever I saw this, I wasn't surprised because it said over the weekend they were going to try and get this done, and they did. So Jamar Chase also he signed a 4-year, $161 million deal that also includes $112 million guaranteed. As for T. Higgins, 4-year, $115 million deal that is guaranteed for the first 2 seasons. Back to Jamar Chase, he has an annual average value of $40.25 million, which is, of course, an NFL record for the highest average annual salary for a non-quarterback. So Joe Burrow gets his 2 main talents at the receiving position for the next couple of years. So, guys, what are your initial thoughts on this move? Frankie, we'll start with you. And now I think the main concern for this Cincy team is still they got to get their O-line problems, and they have to make sure the defense is better.
Yeah, it was a smart move on their part, locking in the weapons for Joe Burrow for the next 4 years, making, like you said, one a highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And they got T. Higgins, who's now the highest paid wide receiver too in NFL history. Yep. So I mean, you locking them in, that's a perfect slot for them. But then, like Logan said, Bengals still have some holes to fill, right? What are they going to do with the tight end? The tight end is still like, they gave him an option to seek a trade, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere because honestly, if any team really wanted this guy, they would have like boosted up and try and get him already. So I think he's going to stick around. Keep a lookout on that for probably next year, because if they put him on a trade this year, don't be surprised if they end up re-signing him next year to a crazy contract like this, like these two guys, because let's not forget that T. Higgins was on the trade market for like the last 3 years. So this is a good part on keeping Joe Burrow and his weapons. But like Logan said, you gotta get your offensive line set. You gotta get your defense set. it's cool to get your weapons and stuff. But listen, if you don't got the line, your quarterback can't throw to them because he's gonna get sacked. If you don't got the defense, you're not gonna be able to win games because your defense ain't gonna be able to stop passes or runs, and the other teams are just gonna score on you. So you gotta figure out what you're gonna do on the offensive line and defensive part.
Yeah, good point. And Jay, just piggyback off that. What are your thoughts on, normally, for the past couple of years, like Frankie said, T. Higgins kind of been getting the short end of the stick. We all know that Jamar was going to get paid, obviously. So him being, some consider him the best receiver in the league. But T. Higgins also just a very nice piece. But we saw that he was franchise tagged earlier in the offseason, and he's not been wanting to have that tag on him for a whole lot longer. So since he said, "Look, we're just going to have to do this here to keep you on the team." But don't stress, man. We're going to get you this contract. It's finally been done. So Joe Burrow's got his top 2 weapons back for the next 4 seasons.
Yeah, here's the thing. So Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, now combined salary is $69 million annually. So that makes them the highest paid wide receiver duo in the league, and rightfully so, because both of them, as you know, are very well accomplished receivers. Coming in at number 2 was Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle at 58.3. And then, of course, the Eagles, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith at 57. So, obviously, the Bengals have said, we will spend some money. We'll keep Joe Burrow's weapons because I think they want to keep Burrow happy because they obviously don't want to lose Burrow and they don't want to have dissension within those types of ranks. But I got to tell you, like Frankie and you guys have said, and we all know, and I think you saw it clearly at the Super Bowl, that the Super Bowls are won in the trenches on defense and offensive side of the line. So with that being said, yeah, like Frankie said, you got your guys under contract, but with all the rest of the holes you got, does it really make a damn bit of difference? Because at the end of the day, you might have the best receiver duo, but if your line is horrible, or if your line is trash, how many times are they going to get the ball, and how many times is Burrow going to wind up on his backside? So even though, yes, you did keep your key pieces in place at the skills positions, you really lost a lot on those trenches, and that's really where they're win. So I think even though this is a win, it's still kind of this is a loss for me. So, yes, I understand you want to keep the guys there, but if I had to grade this, I'd grade it a C. And I graded a C because of the fact that you have no money really truly to spend on where you really need to spend it, which is on that offensive line. So I know it's good for them, but I don't like it. I hope that that CeeDee Lamb and whoever Dallas gets, they don't get wind of this because that's going to put us in a really tough bind.
Go ahead.
I'm
sorry, I was gonna say what's a little mind blowing for me is if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, if you're the head coach, if you're the defensive coordinator, or even if you're the GM, if you went last year and re-look at what was going on and you notice that the main part of why you guys didn't make the playoffs or didn't have a good push in the beginning of the season, which you guys never do in Cincinnati, but the main part of it was your defense. Why didn't you mainly focus on defense at the start of this offseason? And this whole time you're just like, okay, we're going to franchise tag T. Higgins, but we're going to try and get a contract for both of you guys. I understand you want to get them under contract. That's cool. And I know that you guys had them both in the same room because there's no way that you're going to get 2 contracts out on the same night with your 1 and 2 wide receivers unless you had them both in the same room and had like a negotiation on, what can we work between you guys? But like, if you're going to spend that much money on 2 guys, you should have spent that money where it really mattered the most. You had T. Higgins on a franchise tag for 1 more year. You didn't have to rush that contract for another year. You already made a contract deal with Jamar Chase earlier last season. I think it was for a 2-year deal or something like that. But you had that locked in. You should have spent this money on the defense where you need it the most because you guys had no defense this past season.
Right. And I got to be honest with you. Look, and now this is going to sound kind of weird, but I think they could have taken Higgins and traded Higgins before they signed Devontae Adams. They could have traded Higgins for Kupp, brought Kupp in, and got Kupp in a much friendlier deal, and still had a pretty damn good wide receiver combo. And with the money you would have saved bringing Kupp in or trading for Kupp, that, like Frankie said, that's money you could have spent on the line, offensively or defensively, So and that's why I give it a C. I think if you would have traded for a guy like Cooper Kupp, brought Cooper Kupp in, taken that, whatever you would have saved, and put that in either free agency or in the draft and got your offensive lineman that direction, then I would have bumped it up to at least a B+, almost an A at that point.
And it ruined Logan Jay, and it ruins it for the next 2 years. Really, 4 years I understand. They both signed 4-year deals, but for the next 2 years, you got to look at it. Both these guys are getting guaranteed money that they just signed for 2 years. Where are you going to spend that? Where are you going to be able to get players for the next 2 years, unless they get pay cuts? And I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to do that.
He says Logan's having a long night. Looks like he's thinking the Lakers can catch OKC in the West. That's a Glenn classic right there from last week. Gonna find out what he means. Go watch last week's episode.
Man, listen, you're never gonna understand Glenn. That man comes up with some sayings I haven't even heard of, and I still try to figure out. By the way, we love you, Glenn. You're a little hard to figure out sometimes, but we love you.
I think when he shaved his head bald, he went too far down the scalp. He started scraping some of his brain off.
And look, we have our fantasy baseball draft tonight. We'll kind of talk through it a little bit later in the week, but Glenn's in it, so I mean, there's a good chance Glenn might get to keep that nice, beautiful belt he's got, because he's won back-to-back years, for God's sake. So, look, Glenn is he's a savant when it comes to fantasy sports. We all know that. But
Logan, I'm saying it
in
right
baseball, we haven't done baseball yet, so it's an open game for all of us, I think, honestly, because we haven't done that yet.
This isn't just our first network fantasy baseball league time, but this is like every single one of us that's in this league have never played a baseball fantasy league before.
That's true.
So we're all rookies right now. If Glenn comes out on top and wins this, I swear he's cheating some way, somehow he's cheating.
He knows he knows a guy in a chair out there in MLB for giving him inside stats.
Yeah.
Glenn's free agent. Yeah, I'd say Glenn just knows the guys in the front office there in Cincinnati. He's just picking their brains. Hey, what's this guy's war? You know, how's this guy going to be doing on against left-handers on Tuesdays? I mean, that's how in depth he gets with it. But back to the gridiron here. I think obviously you have to pay Ja'Marr Chase, because I mean, you don't want to have a talent like that leave you. You want to try and keep him there as long as you can. Now for the T. Higgins deal, I get, you know, he wanted to get paid, and I understand that, but you like to say, you still franchise tag him, just keep him on that deal, see how he does this year, right? And the only risk you have with that is he's going to want more money at the end of the year if he did, you know, perform as well as we think he would. He said he's got a direct line with Rob Manfred. Got him on speed dial. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I'm with you, Jay. I think it's going to be like a C+ or a B-, because I like Ja'Marr Chase signing. It's obviously it was going to happen. You want to keep him locked up, but you have other, you know, areas that you need to improve on: your defense, your offensive line, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, let's not forget the Bengals were, you know, they were. What was it people were saying? That they said the Chiefs were one of the worst, you know, so-and-so teams at that time because of how they keep winning games. Well, remember, the Bengals weren't getting beat up. They were losing games by field goals, by last second, you know, touchdown, just stuff like that is what made their season a little bit tougher than normal. But yeah, I mean, I'm cool with Ja'Marr Chase getting his bag, but for T. Higgins, maybe not as much. You know what I mean? If you said, hey, T, give me 50 mil and not 100 mil, that way we can go sign two guys to the O line to help us out. But you know, hey, it is what it is, and Cincinnati is obviously, I think, going to be a better. They're definitely banking on their offense, putting up obviously more points than the defense is going to give up and attract. So we'll see what happens this year. But that move doesn't really sway me to say, okay, hey, look, put them in a conference championship. You know, put them in that. It doesn't do that for me. Not quite yet. But we'll see what happens at the end of the season. And also some big contract news that broke this morning. The Houston Texans, they have reached a 3-year, $90 million extension with cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. That makes him now the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. For whatever reason, $89 million of the $90 million is guaranteed. I don't know why you couldn't just guarantee the whole damn thing, but that's just how the contract is. So the previous record was set by J.C. Horn, who signed a 4-year, $100 million extension with Carolina last week. He's getting $25 million per season. So I mean, both those guys are getting paid a boatload of money. Just a couple of stats with Stingley before I give you guys the mic here. He had 5 interceptions, 18 pass breakups this past season, Also allowed the second lowest completion percentage among quarterbacks with at least 200 snaps and only 46%. He was their number 3 draft pick in 2022. And I remember whenever he was drafted out of college, there was a little bit of concern, remember, because he had the back injuries out there, I believe, at LSU. So people were a little bit, gun shy and not sure, that maybe thought that Houston overreached with that injury. But obviously, he's played very well. He's been one of their best players offensively or defensively since he was drafted, and now he gets his money. So, Jay, we'll start with you. What did you think about this deal? I personally, I really think this was a great move from Houston. You lock up your young corner for a couple more seasons, and hope he can continue to play the way he has.
Well, yeah, I mean, this just solidifies another piece of that defense that's really taken shape. Obviously, they just brought it, or they just traded for Garner Johnson. Now they got Stingley up under contract. I mean, I think Texas on the defensive end of the board is really making some good adjustments over there to complement that offense. So, yeah, I like it. It's good. The interesting thing about it, I think, is if you're looking at J.C. Horn, if you're looking at Max Crosby, if you're looking at Stingley and so forth, I mean, these non-quarterback contracts, I think, the running back, Saquon Barkley, resetting that bar for running backs in terms of the contract he did. I think we're seeing the beginning of the next shift of contracts, taking that whole new threshold to another level. It used to be the quarterback was a third of the conversation. Now you get these defensive secondary guys and even running backs now starting to buy into that chunk. And, with the hard cap, I'm confused to see how we're going to all make it work when there's a harder cap now. Now you can't go above that. So I like it. I think it's great. But at the same time, I'm curious to see now how the NFL financing landscape is going to take shape when now we see these non-quarterback contracts start to become higher and the precedent going higher.
And Frankie, what are your thoughts on the Texans bolstering that defense for a couple more seasons now by giving Derek Stingley his money?
It pisses me off, Logan. It honestly.
Why? Why does it piss you off?
I mean, congratulations on getting your contract and making history and stuff like that. But it pisses me off for the rest of us because Christian Gonzalez, to me, is a good cornerback. He really is. He was nominated for Defensive Player of the Year and stuff like that. Didn't win it, but he was nominated. Now it's going to make me feel like now we have to pay Christian Gonzalez a lot of money when the time comes. The same thing with McLovin and Trayvon Diggs. He's probably going to have to give that guy so much money to stay around. The same thing with the Raiders and whoever your safety. I don't know who your safety is. I don't know if he's good enough to get that contract or what. But when you guys get a safety, he's going to want to get that big money contract, right? Yep. It ruins other teams in the NFL because now we have to not only look at, like what Jay said, on running backs getting big contracts because of what Saquon Barkley did. Not just quarterbacks, because obviously quarterbacks are the main focal point of the franchise. So you're gonna have to pay that guy a lot of money. But now you have to look at the defensive side and get cornerbacks. Like, come on, that's way too much money to be asking for. Especially like Logan said, you just got drafted like 2-3 years ago. You started, we had controversies over your back injury and stuff. I guarantee you, next year starts. Logan and Jay, write it down. This man is going to get hurt. He's going to be out for the rest of the season next year just because he just signed a big contract. I'm saying it right now. Watch. It's going to happen.
All right. That's a bold take there, and we'll see how he does. But, I mean, that's just the way the league is going right now, especially the NFL. Obviously, other sports, that's a different subject. But football, a lot of guys are getting paid a lot of big money. They generate a lot of revenue right now. And, we always talk about quarterbacks, and, usually they are the highest paid ones. But quickly, I mean, other positions are creeping up there. They're getting $100 million. They're getting 85, 90. Yeah. I mean, used to it was just quarterbacks that were getting that to chig, but now everyone's starting to catch up. Running backs were right there too, right? With like you said, Saquon, Derrick Henry. Those guys have definitely helped the value of the running backs with how well they've played over the last handful of seasons. But it's not becoming as big of a gap now as we've seen in years past. But we'll see how Derek Stingley does with the Houston Texans once again this year. What's up?
Now, I would say, I just want to caveat or just one more thing on there. You got to think as more of these non-quarterback positions go higher and higher, at some point the NFL is going to have to do one of two things. they're either A, going to have to make it a soft cap and pay a luxury tax, or B, they're going to have to get rid of the cap altogether. But that's not going to happen. Or not me get rid of it altogether. They're going to have to raise the hard cap. That's what I meant to say. So they're either going to have to raise that hard cap, or they're going to have to do a luxury tax, because there's no way you can keep having these contracts get where they're getting and teams being able to stay underneath that hard cap. It's just not going to happen. So what I'm saying is I'm predicting at some point, either the next couple of years, I guarantee you that hard cap is either going to get raised or they're going to go to a luxury tax like the NBA does. I just can't see it staying where it's at and not raising it up significantly to get all these contracts under fold.
I guarantee in a couple of years, we're going to see a long snapper that's going to get paid like $200 million. With like,
oh, no, not that much. Hey, you talk about long snappers. Jay's team signed I forget the guy's name, but he signed the largest long snapper contract in history, and that was maybe what, 20 million or so. Let me check that. But
well, I know Kyle Turpin, they just made him, I think, the highest returner. I think he's getting like 6 million or 7 million, whatever it is, for returning the ball a year. So
I can't see which team is going to make the highest paid ball boy.
yeah, I'm about to say highest paid ball boy, highest paid guy who fills up the water cooler. Yeah.
Christ.
Oh, I'm trying to find it here, Jay, with your long snap, right? See the deal, but I'm not seeing the terms of the deal. Let's see. Oh, sorry, it's okay, yeah, it's 3 years, 4.45 million, but I mean that's still the largest for a long. He does this. He hikes the ball and he blocks. You know what I mean? That's
it.
He hikes it far, he blocks it, and that's for kick.
And
That's for
I think he comes out there for punting, and that's really just punting situations, I would imagine.
For the most part, yeah.
Those snaps are important because he's snapping about like.
No, they are. They definitely are. They definitely are. I understand. Yeah, I understand. You want to keep these guys happy, so that's just like I said, more money is rolling in here. But
I guess a long snapper would be out there for kick or for field goals too. I'd have to.
Yeah. The special teams. That's where he gets.
Either way, man, that's crazy. That's crazy money.
No doubt about that. Well, with that, we'll wrap up the football portion of our show. We're going to switch over to basketball now. And guys, it's March, as we know, St. Patrick's Day right now. March Madness, the brackets came out yesterday in the Selection Sunday shows. Now, obviously, we're not going to go through all of the brackets and everything, but just a couple of highlights. There are 14 SEC teams in this tournament, which is a record for that conference. The number one seeds is going to be Auburn in the South, Duke in the East. In the West, it'll be Florida. In the Midwest, Jay, it's going to be Houston. We'll say this, though, in the first four, and we'll cover these games, as they progress, as they happen, but the first four March Madness games that will be taking place on the men's side is going to be San Diego State taking on North Carolina. That's going to be tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We also have tomorrow Alabama State taking on St. Francis. We have American taking on Mount St. Mary's. And, of course, we have Xavier taking on Texas out there in the Midwest. That's going to be the games that are going to be taking place tomorrow and on Wednesday as well. So those are the first four. But obviously, we're not going to do a game-by-game or anything crazy like that. But
is that Texas or Texas A&M that's playing Xavier?
Texas. That's the Longhorns.
Okay. Because for some reason I had in my mind that was A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M, they made it there. Texas A&M was number 4 seed. They're going to be taking on Yale in the first round. So that's who you got over there. But, guys, what did you think about? Obviously, Jay, I know you're kind of on pins and needles with Texas being on the first four. So, but I know you are a little bit happy with one of your Texas teams, and Houston dominated this year.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Texas made it in, only because of the fact that they were kind of down there in terms of wins and losses and Q1 wins, Q2 wins. So I was really kind of surprised. They kind of got it in just on the bare cusp. So I think Texas has a good shot at beating Xavier, but
yeah, that's fair.
But I don't know that Texas has quite the team to go the distance. If they do, I'd put Texas almost as a Cinderella just because of the way that they got in. But
baby. Hey, keep that up for a minute, Jay, because after we talk about the men's, I know you're going to be happy to talk about the women's side. We'll talk about that. We'll touch on that in a second. But No problem. But hey, Frankie, what are your thoughts, man? March Madness, we got all the everything out the way. I know our guys Chris and Tony ain't too happy right now that Indiana didn't make it. I know they're saying, oh, they got snubbed, but come on, is it really a snub when there's this many teams? I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah, let's be real. We're not surprised that an Indiana team didn't make it in. Let's be real about that. You can have a good season all you want. Well, we ain't surprised that you ain't making it in. I mean, if I'm living in Indiana, my mind is like not even focused on March Madness. It should be focused on the Indiana Pacers. They're you have a better shot with them than you do at March Madness. But it's going to be a great March Madness. Honestly, I saw the lineups. We got a bunch of good games. I honestly expect Auburn and Houston to like make a splash in this March Madness. The same thing with Duke. I expect Duke to make a splash, but it's also concerning with Cooper Flagg and how his ankle is going to be looking during this tournament. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be hella fun. And let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, your boy Frankie C is 3 years running of undefeated March Madness brackets, and I continue to keep the streak alive and going 4 years at a bracket perfection, undefeated, baby.
Hey, the Undertaker's streak ends at WrestleMania. This is the new one right here. I mean, we're 3 years running. We're looking for 4, and we'll see if Frankie can get the 4th one. Just touch on the women's side here. Just look at who are the top seeds out there, and then go through the first 4 games. So out in the Regional 1, it's going to be UCLA with the Bruins. Regional 2, the number 1 seed will be the South Carolina Gamecocks, followed in Regional 3 by the Texas Longhorns. And in Regional 4, it's going to be the USC Trojans. So we get both California teams representing the number 1 seeds in their respective regions. But for the first 4 games on the women's side, we're going to see UC San Diego taking on Southern, Columbia battling Washington, Iowa State going against Princeton, and finally on the 20th, the other game on the 20th is going to be High Point versus William and Mary. So, Jay, I know you're happy. Longhorns, like I said, the men's side, they're just barely cracked in, but hey, man, the women's side, they look great all season. They're hoping to make a big run here. Not a Cinderella story. This is just for hopeful dominance.
Yeah, I think in like 25 years or something crazy like that. This is the first time I think that Texas women's have been the overall number 1 ranked team, and so I don't know if they were able to hold on to it, but I know at one point they were the number 1 ranked team. They may have either kept it.
Yeah, they still are.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
region,
for Texas and really for all of Texas, really, to have us, have that number 1 ranking was a big deal. I expect the Longhorns to go all the way. I don't expect them as long as they can avoid injuries. They're going to be a very tough team to beat, man. But I just want to say, hey, go Longhorns, man. Hey, go women's Longhorns, man. Y'all bring the pride back to Texas, baby.
I'm about to say, down in South Georgia, I was kind of surprised they made the tournament in the men's side. They didn't have a good showing in the SEC tournament. They got knocked out first round. So I thought once they lost that game, Jay, I thought it was over for them. But the bracket committee said, all right, UGA, get in there. First time in 10 years, Georgia's made the bracket. And for the women's side, Georgia Tech, they're going to be representing the women's side out here in the greater Georgia area. So we'll see how the Lady Yellow Jackets can perform this March. They're taking on Florida State in their first round matchup. But Frankie, what are your thoughts on the women's side this year? And with a lot of really good teams hoping to make a good statement.
You know my honest take?
Go ahead.
When it comes to women, I only care about the WNBA. But I honestly think that UCLA and USC I think they're gonna play really well. I understand that Jay's over there excited for his Texas Longhorn girls and stuff like that. But this is March Madness, and it's called March Madness for a reason. Jay, I'm gonna stick with the Texas team on the men's side, but on the women's side, I apologize. And I hope that they read your hat right now, because on your hat it says hope. And I hope that they can have some hope in themselves to go far into this tournament. But I do think USC and UCLA are going to play really great to the end.
I know Frankie decided to watch Juju Watkins do her thing out there.
Yeah, that's a terrible take, Frankie. It's terrible.
That's amazing.
Terrible.
Well, let's talk about some teams. Let's talk about the NBA now. With a team who had their winning streak snapped. Guys, this team hasn't lost, I think, since the Super Bowl. I mean, or right after it, and that's the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes.
Their 16-game winning streak, franchise record, by the way. They lost to the Orlando Magic last night. Paolo Banchero scored 24 points. Franz Wagner brought up 22. So they beat them by 5. Final score 108 to 103. And once again, the 16-game winning streak has been snapped by the Orlando Magic. And if you want to answer to a trivia question, there you go. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, they hopefully they can start a fresh winning streak in their next game. But sad to see, always sad to see big winning streak like that come to an end, but it can happen eventually. Frankie, we'll start with you first in the Magic getting the upset win over the Cavs and finally knocking them off.
It's not sad to see, Logan. It's not sad to see. It's a great thing to see. The hell with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Listen, you really think they care about their 16-game winning streak getting slapped? They don't care. They have the best record in basketball. They're already like locked in the number 1 seed. Like the playoffs in the East are gonna go through Cleveland. Like they don't care. They don't really. It doesn't matter to them. Listen, the only thing that they are good for, because this isn't their first time doing it this year. I think they're the first team in one season to have more than 1 or more than 2 more than 10-game winning streaks, or even more than 15-game winning streaks. So I mean, listen, you already made the record, right? 16 games. That's a franchise record. And we talk about franchise. Let's not forget they had prime LeBron, young LeBron. Like they had LeBron on that team.
In the 90s.
Yeah, so like LeBron didn't even get to do a 16-game win streak for Cleveland. So congratulations, I did it, right? They don't care. The playoffs is around the corner. They're like, hey, congratulations, y'all snapped our win streak. Guess what? We're gonna make a new one because we know we can.
All right, and Jay, what are your thoughts out there in the East with the, like I said, Frank said, the number 1 seed and all that? Cavaliers finally losing to the Orlando Magic, who have struggled this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, man. Like Frankie said, I do believe that. I don't think I think they do care, but at the same time, it's not going to be enough of a burden that they're not going to. Yeah, I mean, I would say, the only thing is if you're going to lose, don't lose to like Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they could have beat Orlando, but sometimes I understand. Sometimes you get those silver road teams that do stuff, but I don't know, man. I always feel like you want to win every single game. But at the same time, I understand. Look, they're getting ready for the playoffs. They're gonna let this game go. They're not gonna put too much into it. But I will tell you this: the one surprise to me was the scoring. I saw Banchero. I felt like this guy was supposed to be pretty good, but he went 6 of 22. I mean that's terrible. We looked at it. I mean, that's like 25% shooting from or somewhere in that neighborhood. He had 24 points, but at the same time, I felt like, man, they should have been able to beat this Orlando Magic's team.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, it is a long streak. I mean, 16 games, Logan. That almost has reminiscence of Chicago Bulls. Not really Chicago Bulls, but the old school Bulls.
Yeah, or a more recent example, the Warriors with their hot streak in the mid 2010s, right when they were just kind of steamrolling opponents. So. But like I said, personal pride, you want to keep winning, obviously. But you already beat the franchise record, so you can tip your hat to that. And now the guys are just going to get loaded up and ready for the playoffs.
Logan, you just made a good point, too, with the Golden State Warriors and what they did in that record, even beating Michael Jordan and the Bulls record at that time.
Right.
Cleveland has that mindset, and Cleveland looks good, kind of like the Golden State Warriors at that time. But how did the ending happen for the Golden State Warriors that year?
Down 3-1. It didn't happen.
You had a 3-1 finals lead, and you let LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers come back and beat you. I'm hoping that Cleveland don't have that in their mind. I'm hoping that they're not like, yo, listen, we're having a good year. We're doing what we're doing in the regular season, but let's not lose focus come playoff time, because we've seen many teams have great records in the regular season, but once playoff time come, you end up either getting eliminated or you end up losing the finals.
Yeah, that's a good point. And from going from the top team in the East to a team who is just trying to get into the playoffs in the West, the Dallas Mavericks are in a bit of a predicament right now, a pickle, a hard situation. The Mavericks, and there's a slight follow-up to this, so we'll touch on that in a second. They could be forced to forfeit a couple of games amid both injuries and salary cap rules. So Let me break it down here before we get your guys' takes on it. So basically, the Mavericks, they've been struggling, right? So NBA rules, you have to have at least 8 players who were eligible to play in the game. Well, Dallas has been they've been struggling with that. I mean, Jason Kidd was like, I don't even know how we're pulling this off right now. I've never seen a sideline go empty.
They're legit on 8, Logan. They legit.
Yeah, So, like you said, there's issues. There's injuries. Of course, 3 of their guys are out for the season, including Kyrie Irving, who we've mentioned here before. Anthony Davis, he's still hurt with a left abductor strain, but it has been reported that he has been sent to the G League with the Texas Legends, where he's going to just basically ramp up production and play a couple of games there. But that still doesn't help the NBA team at the moment. Daniel Gafford's also hurt. Derek Lively's also hurt, but they're still currently not active. Some other players who are dealing with nagging injuries, that's going to be Jaden Hardy, Kai Jones. They both haven't played since early March. And PJ Washington, who has an ankle sprain. He also hasn't played since March 1st. So it leaves just a handful of guys, like Frankie said, exactly 8 players left. And let's not forget 2 of these players, guys, they are G League two-way players, that being Brandon Williams and the other one being Kessler Edwards. They can only play in 50 NBA games in total. That's kind of the rule what the league has. So Edwards played in 37, but he's also sat for 10. That still counts. So he's played in 47 games in total this year. Williams, he's played for 25, so not worried for that. You would think, but he's sat for 19 games, so that only gives him a 6-game kind of limit there. So that's the injury personnel and the player personnel side of it. Now, the other one that I didn't realize it was this bad was the salary cap portion of this. The Mavericks, they ain't got no money, guys. They're flat out broke. They are just under the first apron hard cap, which is $51,000, not million, $1,000. So they can't even sign anyone for league minimums. I mean, it's insane. I don't recall this ever happening. I know guys have, teams, and especially in college, right? Because guys in college, they get hurt, and sometimes they have to play understaffed, or there's someone's got the flu or whatever. But man, for the NBA, the fact that they can't even sign a guy, or their G League options are also kind of handcuffing them, it's a crazy situation. I don't know if they're going to quite get to there yet. I think it's still another week or so before that could come into effect. But for now, it's just a daunting situation. And Frankie, what do you think about this? With all of that going on, the fact that they could be forfeiting games, and let's not forget they're still in a potential to be a play-in team as well.
I think it's karma. It's truly karma. We're talking about a team that was just representing
What's going on, Joe?
That was just representing the West in the NBA Finals last year. And I feel like all of this has been crashing down, not since the Luka trade, but since the Luka injury on Christmas Day, right? I mean, you continue to have winning and losing games from Christmas Day to the Luka trade. Then you trade away Luka. Not only are you losing fans, but you're losing players. Okay, you trade away Luka, and what do we call Luka in the NBA? Luka Magic. The Magic have left Dallas, and now we're seeing what's going on with Dallas. This is absolute karma, and if you have never, ever believed in it, you need to look at this Dallas Mavericks organization right now. If they keep their GM after this year, I'm going to be shocked. I'm honestly going to be shocked.
So, Frankie, you're on team fire Nico, like a lot of the fans are?
I'm on team they should have been fired Nico team right there. That's the team. Once I seen the news that Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers, if I was the owner, I would have said, you're fired. I'm sorry. But clearly he's not fired, so clearly I don't want to hear that, oh, this was under wraps and nobody else knew and blah, blah, blah. This was between the 2 GMs. No, it wasn't. Because if it was between the 2 GMs and nobody knew, then them owners should have stepped up and said, listen, we can't let you got to go. You just traded away our franchise. Look at where we're at right now.
Yep. And Jay, what are your thoughts on the Mavericks? Just their season of turmoil continues. Hey, and Frankie, let's not forget too, the fans got to pay a little bit more money next year to get in. The season tickets got raised.
Yep.
Jay?
Yeah, the closest thing the NBA has ever had to a forfeit was November 28th, 1952, and that was between the Philadelphia Warriors and the Milwaukee Hawks. That's how far you have to go back to see if we've ever forfeited. So no, there's never been a forfeited game, but they came damn close in 52. That's how long it's been. Now look, Logan, like you said, there's two players that look. Let's be honest. I do 100% believe the Mavericks are going to forfeit. I mean, the only way they can't forfeit is if Anthony Davis can make it back in time, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So I would almost guarantee that there's going to be a forfeited game, basically because of what you said a second ago. They got 8 players. That's the minimum. 2 of them are going to be out of the league in 3 games. So I don't know how the Mavericks are going to be able to avoid forfeiting. And yeah, you're right, Frankie. Karma's a thing, man. And you know, when they were having the coffins out there in front of American Airlines Arena, well, yeah, that coffin was more than just for the GM. It was for the whole damn team.
Hey, and this is to Glenn. I just want to know, man, if you ever been to a Pacers or a Fever game, you ever seen a coffin get dragged around or brought to the arena, for God's sake?
I'm just shocked that Jay remembers back. I'm just shocked that Jay remembers back then when he was 5 years old, back in 1950, whatever, and he remembers how that game almost got postponed or whatever, or forfeited.
Yeah,
Jay, I can't believe you remember what that time. You were 5 years old, man. That's crazy.
Wait, Frankie, you don't remember Tony drove him there?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hey,
yeah, Tony was 16 and had a fresh license.
Boy, leave him alone.
All fun.
Fight for your right.
Oh, but yeah, it's fun to rag on the Mavericks right now. All right, everyone's doing it, and we just got to hop in.
Hey, hold on.
They deserve it.
This is where we go left. You ready for we go left, Frankie?
Yeah.
Frankie, where's the Lakers? What position are you in now? Because you ain't in second. You ain't in third. You may be in 5th, but guess who's number 2 in the West? Your boy.
Now for how long though?
And we're on a 6. Hey, and by the way, we're on a 6-game winning streak right now.
Yeah, but for how long?
All right. Also, thank you for that, Glenn.
Don't worry. Hey, right now, that's the real question. Is that you're underneath me, killer.
That's the real question though, right? It's for how long? Because if you look at it, number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are legit.
I understand where the record's at.
It's a blood. It's a blood. I'm not far away, buddy. It's a bloodbath right there.
I did tell you guys. I just want you to know. I told you when Van Fleet came back, we were going to be all right. And what happened? Van Fleet comes back.
That's not the thing, though.
6-game win streak.
That is true. Yep. But then again, you're also looking at what happened with the Lakers, right? Now we're in your position where we got injured players now. So it's like we switched, right? You get your healthy players back, and now you're on a winning streak.
No, you got more than we were hot. You got players that flop. You got players that do all kinds of stuff, man.
I don't care about LeBron James and his flopping. You already heard my deal with LeBron James and his flopping and injuring himself. That's the dumbest thing you could ever do. The main person that was injured that I felt what really ruined us was Rui Hachimura, who is actually known today that he's going to be back at some point this coming week. Okay. I don't know when, but he's a main focal point for me. I don't care about LeBron, okay, but for Rui Hachimura, because that's a guy that has nice shooting ability. He's a nice mid-range jumper. He gets open. I like Rui Hachimura. Jackson Hayes got hurt. He's not a big guy on a center position, but he is a center where we need a center. And when he's in there, Luka got that lob with Jackson Hayes. I seen it yesterday with Jackson Hayes' first game back. So once we get these guys back, Jay, I don't care. You better be scared. You better be scared of the Lakers once my boys are back, because you know what we could do when we fully healthy. You seen what we doing when we were fully healthy. So just hold on.
We haven't played you guys when you're fully healthy. And you haven't played us.
Okay, yeah, it's coming up, bud. It's coming up, baby. It's coming up.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming, Jay.
You know what? Hopefully, maybe Braun can play.
Jay, don't work me up, Jay. Jay, don't work me up.
Maybe Braun will play. Maybe.
Jay, don't you work me up, Jay. It's coming. It's March Madness, damn it.
Hey, all I know is Luka was out there. He still couldn't help you get a win.
Luka did go. He was out there. He did get a win. What are you talking about? Yesterday?
No. I'm saying like
in general.
Was it maybe? I think it was like no. Yeah, I think it was. It was either yesterday or the game before that. I believe. I said Luka was out there and you didn't get the win because Braun wasn't there.
Yeah, that was against. No, that wasn't against Denver. He was out. He was out against.
Was that when he had like 20 something at half? or in the first quarter.
I believe you're right.
He was out against Denver. It was it was the game against the Brooklyn Nets. He was out there.
I'll say this though, Frankie, man. You're right, man. You got Hachimura out, James is out. You guys are going up against the Spurs. You should.
Yep.
And
you should beat the Spurs. You should beat the Spurs
tonight. We got the Sixers. You got the Spurs. On all honesty, we both should get wins tonight.
But you know what got me to going like, oh, we could do this was on Friday. Yeah, Friday. We had to go up against the Denver Nuggets, fully healthy team. And both Austin Reeves and my boy Dalton Connect literally put on a show. No Luka Doncic, no Rui Hachimura, no Jackson Hayes, no LeBron James. We almost beat the Nuggets that night. That was a big game. That was a great game. We almost beat them that night. And then we came out last night. We hammered the Phoenix Suns. Luka loves playing against the Suns. I'm gonna love Luka beating the Suns in a Laker jersey. I know that.
I know you are. All right, we'll hold off on the basketball talk for there today. Guys, our final sport we're going to talk about is going to be a little baseball. Baseball, we know spring training still going on, but guys, believe it or not, the first regular season games take place tomorrow. That's going to be between the Los Angeles Dodgers, the reigning defending champs. They're going to be taking on the new-look Chicago Cubs out there in Japan. And first pitch, guys, might want to get your coffee, get your eggs, get your cereal. It's going to be a 6:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time first pitch out there in Japan. So very interesting. Excited we get some baseball, but like I said, we still got around 10 or so days before the regular season starts for everyone else in the league. But these guys get started early because obviously they're in their country, they're going to have to travel and whatnot. So they're getting started a week earlier, give or take, than everyone else. But are you going to be watching this game? Are you going to be waking up early to catch the official opening day for MLB? Jay, we'll go with you first.
Yeah. So all right. So we know that Mookie Betts is out for this.
No, that's not the question. That's not the question. Are you going to wake up at that time to watch the game, Jay? That's the question.
I don't know. What time is it going to be our time?
6:10 a.m.
6:10 a.m.
So it's
in the morning.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I can guarantee you, I'll set my alarm to get up, but I just know that I'm not a morning person, and I'll probably like, nah.
The fact that you even mentioned that you're gonna set an alarm for that game is insane to me.
Oh, you're not gonna do it?
I would. Hell no. The hell with that. I ain't watching that game. 6:10 in the morning.
No, to be fair, what if the Yankees were in that situation? I just want to know, would you wake up at that time to watch the boys?
No, that's way too early. No, I can't.
Frankie's got kids. He's got to get sleep when he can. I understand.
I gotta get that. Listen, I get up at 7:30 to 7:40 every morning to get my kids ready for school. So I'll watch like the 5th to 6th inning if it's at that point. But that's way too early. Even if the Yankees are on, I'm not getting up that early.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, that's going to be the World Series or the World Tour series that they're on right now. So I say it'll be interesting. Obviously, we've seen a couple of teams play out there. I think the Cubs, they did their work. Actually, wait, hold on. I'm trying to think. Have the Cubs, because I know the Cubs are also out there, but I think this is just going to be like, I think those two were spring training games, but this one's going to be a regular season matchup is I believe how it is. Yeah. Because they played. So we'll see what happens with that.
Jay, I do. Hold on. We got 5 minutes left quickly. Jay, You were mentioning Mookie Betts. I do want you to mention that.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, before I go to Mookie Betts, I was reading something. So the Hanshin Tigers shut out the Cubs and the Dodgers for back-to-back wins. Guys, America, wake up! You're letting Japan shut us down, and this is our freaking sport.
Hold on. You can't even say America towards the Dodgers. That's like half the Dodgers is like Japanese players.
You got a good point.
I'm just saying. Hey, look, guys, come on, man. This is our sport. Wake the hell up. I can't believe you're going over there and embarrassing us like that. Anyway, with that being said, I know we were talking about Mookie Betts. Yeah, Mookie Betts has an illness. He's going to miss the entire series. I still think the Dodgers are going to beat the Cubs. I mean, I I don't think the Cubs have nearly enough to compete with that Dodgers team. But with that being said, yeah, Mookie Betts will be out this series. He'll come back and play when they open up stateside with the Dodgers. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and we'll see. But yeah, I think Mookie said he lost 15 pounds. I think. I mean, he whatever he's doing, he's just going through it.
I told you. Listen, I said this to Caitlin last night.
Yeah.
There is a second outbreak of coronavirus going on over there. I'm not joking. I'm not wishing that upon anything of over here in the U.S., but there is a second break of coronavirus going on over there. And I'm not surprised that Mookie Betts has an illness right now. This is going to be the start. And I swear to God, if they come back to the States and ruin sports for us again in the year 2025, I am filling out a lawsuit complaint to the LA Dodgers on why they listen, Logan, Jay.
Yep.
Hold on, let me get it ready. There we go. The Dodgers over there. There is a reason why you have a game over there, and I've been saying it for months now. Trump, do your job. They're already there, Trump. They're already there. Just bring the Americans back. But keep Mookie over there because Mookie's sick. Mookie's sick. We don't want him back. He's sick. We don't want that. Wait until he's healthy.
No, but seriously though, I mean, I didn't see what they said the actual virus or the illness is, but I would probably bet what Frankie's saying. There might be some weight to that. I mean, I'm not gonna say for sure, but there might be.
I mean, hear it out, right? Like he's got an illness. He's out for the series. He got the illness before the series even came, so he's out for the series. And then Logan, you just say he lost about 15 pounds.
Correct.
That's coronavirus sickness right there.
I mean,
well, whatever he has, I hope it isn't to that degree that we all had to endure 5 years ago. Honestly, I still get at least been 5 years, but hopefully Mookie gets better, and it's just a normal-ish sickness, or just get some IV drip in him. Get some Allegra, you know what I mean? Get some Claritin, and then should be good to go. Get a little bit of honey in his tea, and he'll be fine.
I mean, I'm looking at the article. It doesn't say anything about coronavirus. It does say that he's had this illness for a week, and that over that week he's lost 15 pounds. I said they're trying to get him rehydrated, and gain strength. Roberts added that the 8-time All-Star will fly back to the United States before the team in an effort to rest and prepare for the domestic opener on March 27th. I got to tell you guys, I really feel like if he had coronavirus or anything like that, you got to imagine they're doing testing on him. You got to imagine they're doing all the testing.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think he's got corona. If he had corona, there's no way they're flying him back. If anything, he would go into a quarantine and just stay right there until the thing passes and then come back. So I don't think he's got corona. I really don't. I think it could be something else. But I'm sure if whatever he has, if it was something more serious, that there'll be more to come out on this. But right now, I think it's just a generalized illness.
Yeah, and like I said, hopefully he gets better soon, and he can get back to being on the field here at full strength as soon as possible. Well, that guy's what the show here today. Frankie, I know he had a hard out at 3 because WWE Raw is taking place super early today. Frankie, where are they at? Where are they at today?
They are in, I believe, Belgium. If I'm not mistaken, they are in Belgium today. They are in Germany. Hi! They're going to be having a fun day. Listen, it's going to be fun. All right, Jay, if you got Netflix, turn it on because we're about to get Cody Rhodes and heel John Cena under the same roof. It's going to be intense. I cannot wait. And my daughter just dropped a bunch of strawberries, so let's get the hell out of here.
Well, while Frankie goes and gets some strawberries in the trash can, we'll go and get out of here today, and we can go and watch some wrestling. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the channel with a bunch of other great sports content, gaming content, entertainment content here throughout the week. Of course, this is our Monday, St. Patrick's Day edition of the afternoon show. If you're going out tonight, please be safe. Please celebrate responsibly, but enjoy yourself. And most importantly, guys, Frankie, Jay, enjoy the rest of your Mondays. I'll do it myself. And until tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern, we'll see you guys on another edition of the afternoon show. We'll see you then.